Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Undercut podcast. And it's been a minute. Firstly, apologies because we've been busy. Exam seasons are finally over, and yeah, I guess we're back. So we've decided to do right now is have somewhat of a recap podcast so that we could just run you along through everything that's happened over the past 4 weeks, and yeah, hopefully we come back up to date. Nitish, on to you. With that Rafa Nadal background, Nitish is the biggest Rafa Nadal fan, and he just announced his retirement yesterday. And yeah, even though this is an F1 podcast, we're showing our love to Rafa over here. Nitish,
I
on
mean,
to
I
you.
think I think he deserves the respect. I mean, this is an F1 podcast, but respect should be given where it is due. And the day I decide to step down from social media, he announces his retirement. I actually got to found out. I mean, I actually found out about that through Pranav like a while back. So it's just kind of sad. That's why I decided to put him as my background. And yeah, coming back to the podcast. So let's get started with Baku, and who better to get us started with than the man who went to the Grand Prix, who was at the start finish race, who met Valtteri Bottas. So I think Pranav, I think it's better if you start us off.
Yeah, I mean, that was one hell of a journey. I won't lie about it because it's been like the dream to go to an F1 race abroad, and Baku was an absolute banger, just to put it short. I mean, the whole event was organized beautifully, the whole F1 village, the whole, sort of camaraderie around the place. It was really cool. And then obviously to meet Valtteri afterwards and also GP, let's not forget about him. And that was a really great experience. Yeah, about the race itself, I don't think I am that, you know, I'm not able to completely explain it to you because I could only see one corner, and you don't get the whole picture of the race when you're there. Um, you can't even listen to the commentary really because of, the fans and the car sounds obviously, which was absolutely amazing. Seeing the race start, that was I'm actually speechless because even now when I think about it, I get really like so hyped. Like I really want to go back and repeat that weekend. Yeah, but anyways, Baku as a race overall, again, a great race by Oscar Piastri, because Lando flunked in qualifying that race. I think he qualified 17th or something. Um,
Um,
yeah, and you could really feel it in the crowd, like, the whole groans of McLaren fans, because there were a lot of Papaya fans in attendance that day. And yeah, they were really looking forward to see Lando performing well. But anyhow, Oscar, again, brilliant drive, because, yeah, you could see Charles Leclerc on the back of Oscar Piastri for almost for almost the entire race after Piastri had overtook him. And yeah, Piastri is again proving to be, if not better than Lando, at least on par with Lando on that sort of terms. Nitish, on to you, mate. Uh,
I
give
mean,
us, yeah, what has
okay,
happened?
my side. So I'll obviously start off with the best team that race. I think Williams. Oh, I think we got 10 points, 6 and 4 from Albon and Franco. I think for I first of all, I think he Franco showed everyone in the F1 world that it was the right decision. And I still remember Albon. He was P3 at a point. Obviously, he didn't pit, but then on those old tires, he kept Lando and Max behind him for God knows how many laps. So it was just great watching the fact that a Williams was able to, keep down a Red Bull. I mean, okay, I'm not okay. Williams was able to keep down a McLaren. Red Bull that day was just it was sad seeing Max like that. I mean, everyone was just brushing past through him. It was not even a challenge. Lando Norris, for example, I think within the first 10 laps, he was already way into the points. And impressive race by the other rookie, I guess. Oh wait, I forgot his name. Haas.
Bevan, bro.
Berman, Ollie Berman. Yes, I just remember his image. I actually forgot his name. Okay, God, Ollie Berman. So I mean, he did like he didn't have many highlights, but then he did hold down Lewis for quite a while, and I think both of the rookies really it was a race to remember for both of them. Not for Lewis though. I mean, just I think barely points, but oh, how could we? Okay. I just realized that we forgot about the drama.
Oh,
But
at the
then
end, yeah.
before we get on to Checo-Sainz, the top two finishers, I think Leclerc and Oscar. So initially, I thought Leclerc would be able to fight back, but I think for almost 20 or 30 laps, it was Leclerc in the DRS zone, but then Oscar actually defended like a madman. I didn't know your car could move from the right hand side of the lane to I mean, outside to the inside that quickly because obviously you're going, that's the longest straight. You like more than 300 kilometers, if I'm not wrong, moving your car from right to left just to defend Leclerc on that one corner. I mean, I genuinely, normally, okay, this is a non F1 point of view. Let's say you're not familiar with the terms and everything. When you see a guy trying to overtake, you'll just say, why can't he just go like this and block him off? But then you don't realize the fact that at those speeds, it's not that easy to just turn your car. But then that day, I think Oscar Piastri's defending was something really, it deserves every bit of appreciation it gets. And now I think you can start about the Checo and Carlos Sainz magic,
Yeah, well, like how many laps are Baku? Like 60 odd laps. So
something. I think.
yeah, so it was pretty clean, and Leclerc's tires were absolutely dead after following Piastri for that long. So I'm like, okay, that's it, job done, and this race is gonna finish. Come lap, 2 laps to go. Um, Checo starts catching up to the back of Leclerc, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I was expecting Leclerc to win, which I also sort of wanted it to happen, but okay, let's not talk about that. And yeah, it all looks set for Piastri to win and Leclerc to come second, and then Perez comes up following like that. I'm like, hmm. And there were like a couple of people sitting beside us as well, and I could hear them chatter about, okay, this is getting feisty now. And then Leclerc breaks into the corner, and Perez tries for the move, but Leclerc somehow manages to defend it. But he also gets a bad exit out of the corner, and so does Checo. And out of nowhere, Carlos Sainz swoops past the inside of Checo and takes third place, and he before the second DRS zone. So after the straight, the first turn, and then to the second DRS zone. I'm like, okay, so I think Sainz has overtaken Checo now. But then Checo fights back as we head into the second DRS zone. And yeah, and then disaster occurs where Sainz. Okay. My opinion, it's just a racing incident. After watching the clip over and over again, obviously in the heat of the moment, we all thought it was Sainz's fault. Wait, you thought it was Sainz's fault, right, Nitish?
It definitely looked like Sainz's fault.
Yeah. So Sainz turning in and Checo, he really needed that podium after that bad run of form. And for it to all go away like that, you can't help but feel a little pity for the man after all the scrutiny he's been through this season. And he was actually faster than Max on pace that weekend. So, yeah, for it to all go and end up like that was really saddening. And let's not forget the lucky man, George Russell, got another podium from it. I think this is the second time that's happened this season.
Yeah,
Austria,
he got
where he
yeah,
won
he
the
got a
win.
win.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got a win. Yeah. All
I mean, he
right.
lost to win too, so I guess it's just God's way of giving back, what's lost. So I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Oscar had an underwhelming win, so God gave him an unforgettable one. So
Yeah, that's true. Uh, Oscar Piastri really gives me the vibes of him becoming a great driver. So 2025, McLaren, that whole team chemistry is one to look forward to. Of course, Lando and Oscar are gonna act like brothers and stuff, but I think they're turning into the new Nico and Lewis. That's my opinion on it. So yeah, that'll be one to look forward to.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind a Nico and Lewis with a bunch of new drivers.
Yeah, that whole Nico Lewis dynamic was so toxic. I mean, I wasn't an F1 fan back then, but I thoroughly researched and read that period of time. And what I've come to know about it was that it was really toxic because you've got basically two number one drivers fighting out for their lives. And yeah, that could cause a couple of crashes. So hopefully McLaren don't, get affected by it by any sort of means. So yeah, I want to see how Zach Brown handles the dynamic because we know Toto Wolff, where if there is a fight between two of their teammates, he knows it how to handle it best because he's literally the guy who would, step up and take charge. Zach Brown seems like the kind of guy, who would let it roll. And McLaren also seems like that type of team, as we've seen from Hungary in the previous incident, where they're so, let's say, emotion based rather than thinking about it practically. But as we all know, that's not how F1 works. So yeah, I guess that pretty much sums up Baku and the McLaren dynamic. Yeah, and of course, again, I thinking about Baku just reels back the memories for me. And my best part of the weekend was after the race happened. So yeah, that's one I'll remember for the rest of my life. On to Singapore, Nitish, take it on, mate. A
I
race
mean,
while
I
you
think there's.
slept for half of the race.
Oh yeah, okay. So I thought, I mean, I think I was stressed that day. I think I was studying or something. So I'm like, you know what, let's take a break. Let's just, there's a F1 race, yeah. So it's like 1.5 hour break, just calm down, relax, so that I can get back to focus. And then I was watching the race, I think around lap 22 was the last time I remembered my eyes were open. And then suddenly my mom makes me up and then it's lap 40. I'm like, oh God. It was genuinely, I mean, I was like, I know it's wrong to hope that a driver crashes, but then I was literally hoping for that because it was boring. There was a Lando cam and then there was a race cam. Lando just, I don't know, for fun, crashes into no, brushes a wall every 10 laps so that he doesn't make, I don't know, he doesn't create a new record. 30 seconds with two incidents is unacceptable. I mean, that's just boring. I don't care if Verstappen had something close to that for 3 years. I'm not ready for another man's domination like that. McLaren domination until Singapore was okay. It was watchable. Different drivers, different winners, calm. They have the fastest car, sure, that's all right. 30 seconds with two incidents. Nah, nah, nah. We're going. It's just only thing is the drivers changed. That's all. It was Max Verstappen, now it's Lando Norris. So obviously people loved it because they love Lando, but then I'm just come on, that's unacceptable. But oh, I mean, aside from my personal hate with Lando, I think it was impressive from Colapinto because it was one of the toughest races of the year, and for him to really endure all that and still perform really well is amazing. I mean, he even shocked Albon with his kill in the first corner, which is, I mean, it's about time Albon had a good teammate, a competitive teammate, so that because it's always the atmosphere, when it's competitive, or like Mbappe says, competitive. I think you really push yourself so that you can be better than your teammate, and that's a good thing to have. So Williams' point, I think it's good. Colapinto is a really promising driver, and I'll let Pranav take on Leclerc's skill that day. I think he was phenomenal with that Ferrari that day.
Yeah, so in that entire weekend, Ferrari didn't look like a great package because they, I don't know, like ninth and 10th in quali, if I'm not wrong, which wasn't all
Yeah.
too great. So I assume that, okay, Lewis might be able to hold on to the podium because he even got like a really great start in the race. Of course, he wasn't able to keep up with Max and Lando, but I'm like, okay, a podium nevertheless. And then he decides to go long on the hards, and the Ferrari just starts to come alive. Like they really look like, at least towards the latter part of the race, the second fastest car on the grid, barring Lando. But Yeah, so Leclerc charged through the field from like 10th all the way to fourth. No, wait, third, right? Wait, I'm not. What place did Leclerc finish? One second.
Was it not podium? Wait, did Lewis get a podium? I don't
No,
think
Lewis
so.
didn't get a podium. I'm sure about that.
Or did he overtake Lewis? See,
Yeah, he
he
did
was
overtake
behind a
Lewis,
Merc.
but
He was behind a Mercedes, yeah, was he not?
oh wait, never mind. Piastri got P3. Oh Lord. We completely ignored that guy.
Oh shit.
We
I mean,
complete
Piastri didn't have any. Did he?
No,
I mean, I slept.
Piastri, that was one of his weaker weekends by like far because he was nowhere close to Lando. Lando was absolutely mighty, and it didn't feel like any sort of force, barring an act of God, would not make him win that race that weekend. Yeah, as you mentioned, two incidents and still winning by 30 seconds is madness. Um, yeah, so yeah, coming back to Leclerc's charge, he goes through Hamilton, and I expected him to catch Russell by the end of the race, but obviously he couldn't because I think his tires had started to die down at the end of the race. And yeah, Sainz also putting up like a fairly solid performance, coming slotting right behind Lewis.
Wait,
So
wait,
yeah,
wait.
actually it was some great damage limitation by the Ferraris.
Wait, if Piastri got P3, who got P2?
Verstappen.
Oh yeah, shit. Oh god. Wait. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
fair, fair enough.
Verstappen. Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty boring race now that I look back at it. I was just talking about okay, maybe Singapore might have been a better race than Baku, but like yeah, now when we talk about it, you just really get into life that okay, that was a slumber of a race. And to add on to that, now we're in the middle of a 3 week break to the next race. Yeah, F1 really messed up with the calendar as well. Because
I mean,
because Yeah,
yeah.
because there's a 3 week break, triple header, and there's another 3 week, and then the last triple header. Like, what? I would much rather have a double header, 2 weeks, and then a double header.
I mean, we're not the only ones who are bad at scheduling our lives, you know.
Yeah,
That was unnecessarily deep, but I think yeah, fair enough. I'd rather have double headers and less breaks than triple header.
yeah. You don't need a
I
triple header
mean,
because uh, at the last triple header, which is Las Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Las Vegas, Qatar has a 1 week gap, and it's an 18 and a half hour flight from Las Vegas to Qatar. I don't know what they were thinking when they scheduled this calendar. Hopefully 2025 calendar is a bit better, but
I
yeah,
mean
I don't think it's gonna be.
that's a fancy and rich triple header. Vegas, and then Qatar, and then Abu
Abu
Dhabi.
Dhabi. Yeah.
Fair, fair.
And Las Vegas, the timings are really weird as well. The race is actually late night at the location as well. So the drivers must be absolutely exhausted. Wait, did you not know that?
No, I thought it was late night for us.
No, it is late night for us too, because like the race in Las Vegas is on a Saturday.
Okay, and what is the time? I think
It's
when
like I don't know, like 12 for us. Hold on,
wait 12 a.m. for us.
hold on, hold
It
on.
can't be 12 a.m. for us.
Uh,
Because I think we're 10 to 12
yeah, the
hours
race is
ahead
at
of
10
them.
o'clock for us
So
in
minus 10
the
o'clock what? Morning.
yeah in the morning. Yeah,
Okay, so it's around midnight for them. Oh, good
yeah,
Lord.
and it's at 10 o'clock in the night for them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
in a
So it's
way,
a
we got
late.
lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky, which is actually weird. A race in the States and we got lucky is a bit weird, but yeah. I really don't understand how the scheduling of F1 works, but yeah, it's pretty brutal on those drivers and those mechanics because you have 200 plus people from each team moving country to country like every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's got to be hectic, and F1 really needs to ease down on that a bit. Yeah, I guess that pretty much
That
sums it up. Our recap podcast, doesn't it?
I mean, I see. I told you before itself. Baku is gonna take 75% of the time, and Singapore is gonna finish in snap.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh Lord. Okay, so final thoughts, Nitish, before we wrap it up.
uh, I don't know. I mean, you ended off Singapore. It's tough to think about something interesting, but hopefully we'll have a bit more competition and a bit more of a race, which I don't think it can beat Baku, but something close to Baku, so that the unpredictability of any sport is what makes it interesting. So I'm hoping that something crazy happens this weekend with K-Mag, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. He should be on fire. He should get
He
back
could be
those
on
penalty
fire,
points before he
literally. Yeah.
retires. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a bit
Oh
of a
God.
cold as well, so I'm not feeling that well to shoot today's podcast, but my dedication to this podcast can never be doubted. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's a good
Um,
note to finish on. And I guess we'll see you in the next one, I guess.
yep.
Right? Are you sure we've not missed out anything, Nitish? I mean, it's
I
been
don't
a
think
while
so.
since we've recorded.
Oh yeah. But then
Um,
see, we might have missed something out of Baku, but then Singapore, I don't think so.
yeah, I think even if you didn't watch Singapore, the recap that we've given you is more than enough. That was a complete waste of time.
No. Oh, okay, that's okay, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
um,
Nitish slept during the race. I guess that's enough to tell you how bad that race was. All right.
oh,
I guess that's
that's it,
it.
I guess.
Yeah. Bye.